Very good evening, my dear friends. We are discussing a new remedy, a polycrest from our homeopathic remedy, the Argentum Nitricum. And only a certain aspect of the Argentum Nitricum we have discussed on that day. The psychological aspect, the constitution of Argentum Nitricum, and the symptoms related with the head. That's what we have discussed. A remedy which is a common remedy for brainy persons who used to do a sedentary life and who used to think a lot, generally suffers from headache, generally suffers from GI trouble, generally suffers from throat troubles, and nervous system symptoms are very important in this specific remedy. Today we'll move further, but before going into the next part of the Ellen's keynotes, I want to share two important cases. One case was just last year's example. It was a good, very acute case which I have treated. What has happened? We used to celebrate one Deepavali festival here in Sangamne with one singing presentation. It is a festival, singing festival. It is Deepavali Pahat. It is a morning music entertainment program. And there was one singer. She remained to be from Sangamner only, but after marriage she has shifted to Pune. And for this singing program, she used to come every year during the Diwali festival and she used to sing. What has happened? She came 2 days before to Sangamner and consumed lot of oily food, the sweets, etc. And the things have happened that her throat was very bad. And next day the program was there. And I was there because being a part and parcel of that program, I was there to in the program in the preliminary their trial methods were going on, and I was there for that purpose. I saw her, and she said, "Doctor, can homeopathy do anything?" And she talked in hoarse voice. So what has happened to you? She said, this is because of this is the gift of the poly products. And tomorrow I want to sing. How can I sing? I'm saying that I will not. I said, you will perform and you will perform very nicely. I just asked, what is your problem? She said, as soon as I go to the tip, high pitch sound, it used to produce a cough and there is severe irritation in my throat. Just as if a splinter like pain, someone is cutting inside. That pain is there whenever I used to talk. And she was frustrated because every year since last 15 years she was singing in this program, and this year because of this problem she was considering that she will not perform. So generally a hoarseness of public speakers, singers, who used to consider Argentum Metallicum as a first remedy whenever hoarseness is more marked. But when it is associated with severe splinter-like pains, the splinter-like pains is the characteristic of nitric acid. Nitric group, nitric acid has very typical splinter-like sensations or pains in throat, in rectum, in anal region, everywhere. That splinter-like pains led me to think about the Argentum Nitricum, and it was aggravated because of sweets. So it was confirmatory in that case. And she has told me one important sentence that whenever I used to increase my pitch, immediately I used to get the cough. I could not. So I have given Argentum Nitricum 200, 3 doses every 15 days, 15 minutes, and I asked her, just tell me tomorrow morning and at the program and we'll meet over there. And whole program she sang near, she had performed at least 5 different songs in that perform with even with high pitch, and she was quite good. And she said it is only possible at the end of program. She directly commented over there Yesterday I was thinking that I should not sing. That bad condition of the throat was there. And today I have performed because of Dr. Rasal's remedy. And remedy was the Argentum Nitricum. So Argentum Nitricum is a wonderful remedy one should consider in such types of cases. One more remedy is Argentum Metallicum, no doubt, Argentum Metallicum, but here the splinter-like sensation is very characteristic with the Argentum Nitricum. Second important remedy, Populus canadensis, that can be considered as a remedy for the instant voice producer. This is one more remedy I used to use many times in my cases. So we must know all those things and the details about the remedy so that we can utilize these weak ones. Another case where I have used this remedy was a child brought to me with a typical, he was nearly about the 5-6 years child and had diarrhea. And that diarrhea was very typical. It was absolutely greenish. The mother told me that, doctor, he had diarrhea since 2-3 days and it is as if absolutely greenish, like someone has mm, cut down the spinach or they are chopped the spinach like the. And then I asked, oh, how it has started. Doctor, he used to eat too much sweets. He liked the sugar, he liked the sweets, and he used to consume a lot. And in last 3-4 days, he has consumed tremendous sweets. Then I asked, what do you feel? What is the doctor? Some doctor have given this remedy and he has shown me chamomilla and it was given, but it was not working. So I thought it is better to consult you, and that's why I am here. And he used to get 6 to 7 times a diarrhea in a day. Every time it is like that only. Then I asked details, and then she told me one thing: as we have given him every time electoral water or plenty of water to drink. But whenever we used to give him a water, whenever he used to drink, he used to get the colic and he used to go for stools. That was very important modality which was there. Second important modality that it was aggravated because of sugar. It was happened because he has consumed many candies. That was third important thing which she has told. So now I was considering it is not chamomilla because chamomilla strikes our mind very fast. Diarrhea like chopped spinach, aconite is also a remedy, murk is also a remedy, chamomilla is definitely a remedy. There are many more, but out of which we used to definitely commonly consider the chamomilla. But chamomilla child are the child who used to come to you absolutely in an irritated mood. They never comes you calmly. This fellow was not like a chamomilla child. So it is not chamomilla. That's why the state defines the remedy. Here it was not chamomilla. Here that fellow was absolutely hasty and hurried. We used to call it as dhasmusa in Marathi. This is hasty and hurried and restless child. And that child had this problem and who used to crave more and more sugar and sweets and candy. So I thought about the Argentum Nitricum. I have given 3 doses of Argentum Nitricum. I asked them to report me tomorrow morning. And immediately after first dose only, the remedy has acted. He had only once a diarrhea in the evening, and it was even of a good quality. Next day, he passed normal stools, and they reported me that he is better. Argentum Nitricum has this typical diarrhea along with nervous diarrhea like gelsimine. So we have to understand the depth of each symptom, which is explained by Allen, so that we never forget what is there in Argentum Nitricum. So let us go ahead with the next paragraph. We have discussed up to the headache. We'll go with the eye complaints of the Argentum Nitricum. Acute granular conjunctivitis. Yes, we have shared yesterday the case of conjunctivitis. Acute granular conjunctivitis, scarlet red like a raw beef, discharge profuse, mucopurulent. And this is the characteristic. It is the most common remedy whenever the conjunctivitis is going on. And if it is little bit chronic, think of Argentum Nitricum first. There is a discharge which is yellowish mucopurulent discharge, and agglutination of eyes is very marked in Argentum nitricum. Ophthalmia neonatum, that's what we have shared yesterday, that a case from our hospital. Ophthalmia neonatum, profuse purulent discharge. The cornea was opaque, ulcerated. Lids are swollen, sore, thick. Eyes are agglutinated in the morning, like Apis, the Merksol, the Rush dogs. There are many more remedies, but basically the yellowish discharge and eyes are totally agglutinated, lids are swollen. Whenever there is a discharge which is granular, mucopurulent, first remedy to be think of is Argentum nitricum, and it is wonderful remedy to be utilized for that. Eye strain from sieving. And this is one important feature of Ruta also. Ruta patients always complains of eye strain. They complain that their eyes are painful. So this is very typical. Those who used to work on laptops more commonly has the eye pains. Ruta is first remedy to be think of because of eye strain. This is one more remedy. Eye strain from seeing, aggravated in warm room, ameliorated in open air, like Nitromir and Ruta. Ruta is mentioned over there. This is due to the defective accommodation. What is defective accommodation? Accommodation is the thing that a person who at the same time looking for a long distance, suddenly he changes to the short distance, and there is lag in between, and the problem arises. That is a typical accommodation problem, and that is more common with the Argentum nitricum. So this remedy is a very important remedy for eye complaints. Never forget this remedy for many eye complaints. Then GIT features. In the GIT features, see what he's mentioned, craves sugar, and this is very typical chronic craving is there with the Argentum nitricum. Child is fond of it, but diarrhea results from eating. Craves the sugar, but it produces diarrhea. This is very typical with the Argentum nitricum. Craves salt and smoked meat, it's calcarea phos. Craves salt and smoked meat, it's calcarea phos. But craving for sugar, craving for sweets and salt, Argentum nitricum is a very important remedy. Craving for sugar as well as salt. Belching accompanies most gastric elements. Belching, there is a eruptions. Many times patient complains, I used to get belching very commonly, and it never settled. It looks like the Nux vomica many times, but Nux never works. Think of Argentum nitricum. Nux is acute, Argentum is chronic. Argentum works for 30 days. Flatulent dyspepsia. So indigestion, the dyspepsia, where there is flatulence, belching after every meal. So whenever patient is eating, if after every meal there is a belching, stomach as if it would burst with wind, belching difficult, finally air rushes out with great violence. And these are the people who used to make darao more. That is very typical with them. Their sound, whenever they used to belch, there is a big sound which it produces. That is very typical with the Argentum nitricum. Then the diarrhea. See diarrhea, green mucus like chopped spinach in the flakes, turning green after remaining on diaper, diarrhea after drinking, diarrhea after eating candy, diarrhea, masses of mucolymph in shreddy strips or lumps, like asaram, diarrhea with much noisy flatus, aloes. See, many features related with the diarrhea are there. You get this remedy for GI features very common. As soon as patient has to go somewhere, a thought comes, they immediately goes for toilet, like gelsemic. So this is wonderful remedy for such things. Diarrhea as soon as he drinks. See, underline this. This is very important. As soon as patient takes water, immediately he goes for toilet. Like arsenic, like croton like thrombium. Urine passes unconsciously day and night. Involuntary urination. This is one remedy, like Pashtika. But here diurnal variation, daytime also, at night time also. Causticum, it happens to be there in late sleep. Impotency, erection fails when coition is attempted. Very important remedy for the male genital features. Where directly impotence coition is attempted, there is a problem always, like Agnes, like Caladium, like Selenium. Selenium, it is very marked. Generally, in old people, this is very marked. Even in youngsters, this is very marked. And it is very important remedy to be utilized in chronic impotency. Agnes is also very important remedy for such types of cases. Coition, painful in both sexes. See, this is very important. Coition is painful for males as well as females. But specifically in females, what happens? Followed by bleeding from the vagina, like nitric acid. And these people fears a lot. They feel that bleeding is there after coition. They feel there might be something wrong with their vagina, whether there is cancer. They fear the cancer more commonly. This bleeding generally after 35 years of age produces suspicious thought regarding the malignancy. And that's why this is one important feature one should not forget. Metrorrhagia, that is intermittent menses. How is the metrorrhagia? Metrorrhagia in young widows. See, young widows, that is very typical, very, very characteristic. Those who have become very early widows, metrorrhagia in sterility, metrorrhagia with nervous erythema at the change of life, that is at the menopausal age or climacteric age, like lachesis. Menorrhagia is there. So intermittent menses becomes irregular during this time. We used to think about lachesis first because climacteric syndrome is characteristic of lachesis. But if metrorrhagia is specifically happening, this remedy has very specific meaning. Great longing for fresh air, amyl nitrate, the pulsatilla, the sulfur, this Argentum Nitricum also craves for fresh air. In LMC part feels better in open air. Here it is not modality, it is just craving. Craving for fresh air is the important feature. Chronic laryngitis of the singers. The high notes cause the curve. That's what I have just mentioned in the case. Alumina, Argentum metallicum, Arum triphyllum. These are very important remedy, but in Arum triphyllum, it is associated with much more coryza, with irritation around the nose, and nose becomes absolutely rough and corroded with Arum triphyllum. Great weakness of lower extremities with trembling, cannot walk with the eyes closed, like alumina, very close to alumina regarding this. There is vertigo while closing the eyes. And very important thing, this is neuropathy which develops in Argentum Nitricum. Brainy workers who used to suffer from hypertension and ultimately ending with the nervous neuropathy. This is very important remedy, one should not forget. Walks and stand unsteadily, especially when he thinks himself unobserved. So their gait is not proper. Their gait is unsteady gait. And that is very important regarding the Argentum Nitricum. So neuropathy specifically happening in lower extremity, producing a difficult walking. Think of Argentum Nitricum. Convulsions preceded by great restlessness. There is restlessness which happens, and immediately after immediately afterwards there is a convulsion. Sensation of splinter in throat, that's what I have discussed in that case. That is very characteristic when swallowing, like dolichos, like kepasol, like nitric acid, like silica. But nitric acid is very specific for the splinter-like sensation in and about uterus when walking or riding. So this is splinter-like sensation in the throat as well as in the uterus. Splinter-like sensation is there in Argentum Nitricum, specifically it walks and rides. Chili when uncovered, it feels smothered if wrapped up. So they whenever they uncovered they feel chilly, but whenever they covered they feel smothered or blocked. And that's why they crave the fresh air. They like the craving. There is always a craving for fresh air. They never likes to be covered on around the face. It feels a smothering feeling which happens to be there very typically. The relationship, natrum more for the bad effects of cauterizing with silver nitrate. Yes, the natrum, whenever people, there is silver nitrate cauterization is done, warts are there. Natrum is wonderful remedy to be utilized in such types of cases. Cophia increases nervous headache, and this nervous headache is present in Argentum nitricum, close to Argentum nitricum. But coffee, many people get the headache after drinking the coffee. Think about the coffee as well as the lachesis. Lachesis is one more remedy where the headache is aggravated by coffee. Boys complaints after using the tobacco. So arsenic, veratrum, Argentum nitricum, tobacco aggravates. Similar to natromyr, nitric acid, lachesis, aurum, and cuprum. Natramur specifically, the complaints which are very common with both the remedies. Nitric acid splinter-like sensation more common with there, and nitricum is part and parcel of argentum nitricum. That's why many symptoms goes close. Lachesis for the menopausal complaints as well as throat complaints. Aurum, aurum comes close because this aurum is also a brainy worker, but aurum is more meticulous type of personality, which argentum nitricum is not. Cuprum aceticum, specifically the convulsions where the cuprum comes closer over there. Even in diarrhea, the cuprum is one of the important remedy. Aggravation, general modality. No, there is one more. Mm, After veratrum, this remedy is useful. Lycopodium follows well in flatulent dyspepsia. So if you would have given the argentum nitricum and patient is not getting completely over, think of lycopodium later after the argentum nitricum. That's a good practical hint which he has mentioned over there. Aggravation. See the modality. Aggravation by cold food, aggravation by cold air, aggravation eating sugar, aggravation by ice cream, aggravation by unusual mental exertion. So see, cold food, cold air, eating sugar, ice cream, unusual mental exertion, all complaints gets aggravated. So these are general modalities of the remedy. And you can apply that modalities anywhere, whatever may be the complaints which happens to be there gets aggravated. These are the modalities one should take into consideration. And then amelioration, open air, craves the wind blowing in his face, bathing with cold water ameliorates the patient. So this is contradictory. The cold food and cold air aggravates, but bathing with cold ameliorates. These modalities looks little bit odd, but these are present with the Argentum nitricum. See, last part which is very important, the practical hint which has been given by Aleph, the 200 or 1000 potency in watery solution as the topical application ophthalmia neonatrum has relieved when the crude silver nitrate failed. And this is a practical hint, but I have not used this practical hint. But I have utilized this remedy internally in ophthalmia neonatrum, and it worked within 2-3 days completely. But this solution one can try, but what happens, we don't know that whether how much irritation it causes, and that's why no, I have not seen the practical utilization, and that's why I have not used this. So this is Argentum nitricum in short from the Alinsky notes, and it is a wonderful remedy. It is big remedy, in fact. If you go with the Materia Medica Viva from the George Vitulkas, he has mentioned the details of Argentum nitricum, very much detail. So we have to read the remedies from different books. You can get a detailed understanding about the medicine. We are just reading the Alinsky notes because we have to understand the core of the remedy. So this is the core which we have discussed in last 2 days. Tomorrow we'll start with some another polycrest and we'll continue with the same series. So that's all for today. Is there any query, question? If it is there, we'll have a chat. Otherwise, we'll finish the session. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow again with any other remedy. I will let you know what remedy I will going to take in tomorrow's session. So good night to everyone and thanks for attending the session. Thank you.